The first 10 minutes of you arriving to a job can be crucial. Stay tuned to find out why. Hey sitters, welcome back to another video. It is Lydia. Thanks for joining me. Thank you for being here. I really appreciate you guys' support and you watching. In today's video, we're going to go over why the first 10 minutes of you arriving to a job can be the most crucial. In the past, I have made videos, and I'm sure you've seen them, about why it is important for you to meet the families before babysitting for them. In that meeting, whatever it is, 10, 15, 20 minutes, you should be focused mainly on the kids and making that connection with the kids so that when you do go to babysit, it is easier for the parents to leave the house, the kids feel comfortable with you, they've already recognized your face and have met you before. In that meeting, you're also going to be taking down long-term information, just things in general, getting to know the family. And then also finding out if this is a family you want to work for, because we've talked about that before as well. Red flags and recognizing red flags in families that you may not want to babysit for. Now, I understand that that meeting may not be able to happen. That's not always possible. Last minute babysitting gigs are a thing. Either way, whether you met the family beforehand or if you're meeting them for the first time, when going to a babysitting job, those first 10 minutes are truly important. The way you interact with the parents, the way you ask as many questions as you can about what the night's going to look like. Now, if you haven't met the family beforehand, it's even more crucial that you work with those. I even suggest that you go and see if you can come maybe 15 minutes early. So if the family asks you, can you be here at 6:30? You can go ahead and text back, hey, since we haven't met, would it be okay if I came 15 minutes early just to make sure that I get all my questions asked, I get comfortable knowing what the night's going to look like, and I don't want to interrupt your, like, they're getting ready and stuff like that and trying to rush out the door as soon as you get there. That way you have a comfort time that you're asking all your questions. So those first 10 minutes, you should be asking what the night's looking like. You should ask, I like to think about it this way. Ask as many questions as you can, and if you think you're being annoying, ask even more, because parents really appreciate you getting as much information down. You really showing that you care about what the night looks like, you care about the children, you care about keeping on track as much as you can, keeping that bedtime routine in check. They really, really, really respond better if you are interacting with the parents in those first 10 minutes than you are the kids. I'm not saying to completely ignore the kids, but I am saying that you need to turn your focus to the parents and making sure that they feel comfortable walking out that door with their children in your hands. And if sometimes that is just asking questions about the family. What do you do for a living? Like, as soon as I get all my questions out of the way, I still make conversation about, oh, well, what do you guys like to do for fun? Or if they have a boat, I say, oh, I see you have a boat. How often do you guys get out? Do the kids get to go with you? I try to make a connection with the parents as well so that they understand that I'm not, I don't know, sometimes if I don't, I've gotten feedback that it could be like a cold shoulder. It's off-putting sometimes if you don't interact with the parents. Again, if they're getting ready, I try not to interrupt. That's the perfect time that I get to talk to the kids. What do they do? What do they like to do for fun? What schools do they go to? How old they are? That's when I start to interact with the kids, is when the parents actually need to be getting ready. But those first 10 minutes, the 15 minutes, if I haven't met the family before, I really try to get as much information as I can. And that's when your family intake form comes in, the new family intake form, the long-term information form that you need. Have them fill that out before they leave. And again, you don't want them to be rushing out the door, and you don't want to be inconveniencing them when you hand that paper to them. So make sure that you try to get there a little bit early, if that's okay with them. Sometimes I'm meeting families that are coming from another, like if they're coming back from school or whatnot, so it doesn't work out. But most of the time they appreciate it and say, absolutely, you can be here at 6:15 instead of 6:30. I'd appreciate it. So I want to talk about appearances next. And I know I preach this all the time, that what you wear matters, and be careful what you're wearing, because if you're bending over, you can, whatever, right? I've done videos on it in the past. If you haven't gone to check those out, go look at them. But I also want to talk about you arriving with stinky breath, or your hair's a mess, or just your appearance in general, the way you smell, just in general. That kind of stuff needs to be thought about before going into a home. And here's some examples. So I don't own cats, but I can go into a household and instantly know whether or not they own cats. And I'm not saying it's because I walk in and I'm like, oh, it smells awful in here, I know it's because it's their cats. That's not what I'm saying. Cats have a certain scent to them. And I can smell that because I'm not used to it, because it's not in my home. You get acclimated to the situation that you're living in. So if you live with cats, you get acclimated to that scent. If you live with dogs, you get acclimated to that scent. So for example, I own dogs. I own a lot of them. So if I'm going into a household where they don't own dogs, they can smell that on me. They can smell the dog scent. Again, it's not a bad smell, not a good smell. It's up to whoever's smelling the scent, right? So before a job, I just make sure that I'm not cuddling my dogs 30 minutes, 40 minutes before the job. I make sure that I don't show up covered in dog hair. I make sure that I wash my hands when I get to the house or before I arrive to the house. Make sure your breath doesn't smell. Pop in some mints. Brush your teeth before you go. I know if I'm going to a job after I eat dinner, I brush my teeth before I leave for the job. If you are, and it may not be that you smoke, but it may be that somebody in your household does, that sticks on your clothing. Even though it's not you doing it, it sticks. And that people smell very quickly on you. And a lot of the kids describe it as, she's stinky. That's all I get from them. And not that I smoke, but not that anybody in my household smokes, but when we pass somebody in public that's smoking, that's exactly what they say. They're stinky. It's so funny. But what you can do about that before going to a job, make sure that you are washing your hands, washing your mouth, and changing your clothes. Put on some perfume. And then don't put on a ton, because now we are overcompensating and we'll be able to smell roses and flowers all night long. That's not what I mean. But making sure that you're as much as a neutral smell as you can be. And when you're working with infants, you shouldn't be putting too much perfume on you anyways, because they're so close to your clothing. It's not good for them. But other than that, you should be smelling neutral. You should have a neutral smelling atmosphere on you. So appearance matters. First impressions are truly important. And if you come to that house with a rat's nest on your head and you are smelling and you got bad breath, you're not coming back. Sorry, not sorry. That's not appealing to families. So all of this plays a role into the first 10 minutes, and it goes by quickly. First impressions are truly important in any situation, let alone you going and working with somebody's children in their house, right? I appreciate you guys watching. I just am very passionate about those first 10 minutes, as you could tell. I've had a lot of feedback from my families with my employees, and it all comes back to those first 10 minutes. Whether they're comfortable leaving or they're not comfortable leaving, whether they like them or they don't like them, in business, it's truly important. And I just wanted to make sure that when I learn something, or when I realize something, or something's repetitive in my life, in the business, in the babysitting industry, I want to give it over to you as much as I can, because I want you to learn as much as you can from my experiences, not my mistakes, because we're learning from them, and you have to go through them to learn, right? But from my experience. Thank you guys so much for watching. I truly appreciate it, and I'll see you in the next video.